What's the funniest thing you've done to avoid having sex? This is a story of wingmanship more than turning down sex. Went to a bar with two buddies, one of whom was meeting a girl that he had a crush on. She was wasted when we arrived, and after introductions it became apparent she was interested in me. Heavy flirting, obvious touching, etc. My friend with the crush took it in stride, sorta giving me a c'est la vie shrug, but I felt bad. I moved the conversation around till it was ripe to drop a white lie. I was gay. She didn't believe me at first, so I improvised and wrapped my arm around my other friend, who was in the middle of WTFing after hearing me say that, and introduced him as my partner. She did a hip dong and asked us to prove it. There are those moments when you catch the gaze of a friend and realize that what's about to go down is something that you'll laugh about later, or regale at each other's wedding. It only lasts for a split second, but in those moments you can glimpse the depth of your friendship. We shared a moment like that before exchanging a slow, gentle, familiar kiss. She just stood there, then said, "Wow, you guys don't seem gay." Meanwhile my pal who was into her witnessed the whole thing, jaw dropped, and bought us 2 shots. She became more obnoxious as the night wore on, and my pal lost all interest. Came out of there with a great story though. Ultimate wingman material right here. A couple once tried to have a threesome with me. They kept trying to touch me and massage me, and my awkward, idiotic attempts at diffusing the situation was to complain incessantly about how hungry I was and could we please go find some fried chicken. Finally I had to explicitly tell them I wasn't interested. They were really nice about it, so nice that they believed me about being starving and loaded me down with all this fresh produce. I had to walk home at midnight carrying 2 huge armfuls of cabbage and pears and stuff. All my housemates were up when I got back and wanted to know where I had found a farmer's market so late at night. Back in college I was a designated driver for a group of friends. We get to a party and my sober ass is bored. Then a very drunk woman I knew from one of my classes started hitting on me, culminating with her telling me she'd frick my brains out. Sober me thought this wasn't kosher since she was hammered, so I turned around for a moment and yanked a few hairs out of my nose. It made me eyes water and my nose run and I said, "I have a brutal cold you don't want to catch. Why don't you let me get better and then I'll take you out." I gave her my phone number and she, though that was so sweet, she passed out with her head in my lap. 3 days later before class she came up to me, gave me a huge hug, and thanked me for not being a dong. We ended up dating and she's still one of my best friends. Went with this girl to some seedy love hotel. I'm Brazilian. She wants me to go down on her. Well, why the frick not? Thing is, there's a strange smell coming from down there, and it's far from that normal, girly, and pleasing smell. No, it's not menstruation. It's not poop. It isn't anything caused by lack of hygiene either. It's not even a yeast infection. I know these smells. Trust me, it's something akin to carrion. Like there's some necrotic tissue inside her parts. When I took her panties off I almost gagged. So I did what any manly man would do. I immediately excused myself to the bathroom and escaped through the window. I shall tell you what this was, but you will not thank me. That is a tampon that she forget to remove. I must say, I was expecting more female answers than male ones. I think the stereotype of a Reddit user is outweighing the stereotypes regarding male and female attitudes towards sex. I decided to create a new account because I had to post something in regards to this, and my girlfriend family didn't need to know about. A few years back, single, and on the mend from a 9-year relationship, I was on Facebook chatting with my mother's best friend. We were talking about her kids who are my age, and how they've been, and how I wished I had hung out with them more in high school. The conversation becomes a bit more personal, and it migrates to text. She's asking me how big I am, and how she's always been curious. She's a very attractive lady, but 30 years older than I am. Plus, she has a big rack, which I got to see based off the pictures she started sending me. In a moment of weakness, I decided, I'm going to hit this. I give her my address, and she starts driving over. In a moment of clarity, I realized what was about to happen and started freaking out. I called my mother shortly before her friend arrived and told her I was homesick, that I missed her cooking. I asked if she could please come over and cook with me. She enthusiastically agreed and said she'd be right on down. I asked her if she could please call 510 minutes before she got there because I may be in the shower. Her friend then arrives and immediately strips down naked before the door even shuts. She starts straddling me and my phone rings. I pick it up, put it on speaker, and it's my mother saying she's about 5 minutes away. Her friend had the deer in the headlights look, put her clothes back on, and bolted. I took a girl to her boyfriend's house. I ran the frick away. I was with a girl from a party out on the street going at it on top of a car hood in an alley. After a bit she tried to slip me in. Because she was wearing a skirt and no panties, this was easily attainable. She had a death lock on my hips with her legs as I was standing there and I asked if she had any condoms. She told me no and again with her death lock on me started to steer me back into her. In my head I was thinking frick AIDS and crap. I don't know her. She's not even wearing panties. Instead of telling her I didn't want to, my drunk ass instead went on and pointed out across the street. When she looked, I spun out of her grip and all in one motion grabbed my pants back up and went into a full sprint and jumped the fence into someone's yard and took off down the street. About the time I hit the ground over the fence I heard her yell, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I just say that I have diarrhea. Nobody wants to have sex with someone who has diarrhea. This on behalf of my non-Redditor roommate. A girl in his dorm forced him to walk her home, and then alleged not to have a key to her room. She then pulled him into his bed and tried to get things going in a hurry. He got up, claiming he had to go to the bathroom, grabbed a hoodie, and walked 20 minutes to the library, where he slept for the rest of the night on the ground because the room with the lounge chairs was closed. He got dozens of calls and texts from her, but never heard from her again after that night. Seems risky to leave a scorned woman alone in your room where your stuff is for a whole night. While wingmaning a friend who was having sex in another room of the house, I had to sleep in the same bed as the girl he was having sex with's ugly friend. So she really wants to do the dirty but I'm not feeling it with her at all. So very drunk, I decide to make a fort on my half of the bed out of blankets and pillows and such and try to go to sleep. However, she is surprisingly aggressive, so for an hour I have to keep yelling at her. No girls allowed in my fort. She eventually got the message. Frickin' right, no girls allowed. That's your fort. There are many like it but that one was yours. The sex with my ex-girlfriend was so terrible, she'd lay there like a dead fish, basically, that when we would go out to bars, I'd purposely give myself whiskey dong. I fell behind a dryer. I was drunk, sitting up on top of a dryer in a friend's laundry room. The creepy girl I had avoided all evening entered and had me cornered in the room. She pushes up on me, tries unbuckling my belt, and attempts to kiss me. My only method of evasion was to fall backwards behind the dryer and wait until backup arrived. 3 friends heard her calling for help and sprung me from being trapped between the wall and the dryer. I left the room with them as my guardians. I'll never forget the terror of being wedged back there while watching her fat hot dog fingers try to molest me from above. The image of sausage fingers reaching down for you while you are trapped is hilarious. Called her the wrong name in between her kissing me. Bad breath is a turn off. Oh, I thought you were a Sarah. It was 2005 or 2006, with some friends at a girl's place. She has a thing for me, but I strongly suspect that she isn't completely mentally stable. We're all on her bed watching Family Guy together. Girl decides she freaking wants me, rolls on top of me, pins her arms. Friends are like, ooh, we're gonna leave and start to head out. I give them the don't you freaking leave me eyes. I think fast. Wrestling instincts take over. Flip her over. I'm on top of her with her arms pinned now. She has the oh frick yes look and hair eyes. I hop up and WOOOPWOOOPWOOOPWOOOP Zoidberg crab walk away. She did turn out to be crazy as frick. Avoided sticking my dong in crazy. My friend was very drunk in college and went home with a very unattractive girl. We had tried to stop him, but he didn't listen. Shortly after arriving at her home, he said he regained clarity and realized he needed to escape. She left the room for a moment to brush her teeth or some such task, and he jumped out her second-story window. He forgot his hat, though, and had to climb back in said window. Then he jumped back out. It was a small school. We saw her on campus often. Indiana Jones, the college years. My girlfriend was in Spain for a while and I was hanging at my local bar for a few drinks after work one night. Somehow while I was having a beer or two and playing darts, time passed and all of a sudden it's near closing time. I am normally a bike commuter, but was recovering from being hit by a car, so I was waiting on a cab while this 5/6/10 regular customer was trying to chat me up. I'm courteous and polite, but trying to shut her down. After 40 minutes of no cab showing up, chick offers to give me a ride home. I say, frick it, it's free, I'll take it. Once we're in the car she won't stop seriously trying to hit on me. Eventually she asks why I don't just stay with her and I reply, as I have quite a bit at this point, that I have a GF and I love her. She asks what the heck is so special about this girl that I won't just cheat on her real quick. Now I'm past being uncomfortable and into getting pee. I keep my cool and explain that if I were to come over then I'd need to stop by my house and get my toy box. She asks what that means, and I tell her it's just the standard stuff. Ball gags, riding crops, a couple butt plugs, just the basics. She seems a bit weirded out, but not quite what I want. So I say, if you're into it, that's just the beginning. Are you into bondage? I've got a whole closet full of fun stuff to play with. I keep going, pulling all of this out of thin air, and by the time we're a couple miles down the road at my house, this bee can't wait to get me out of her car. Never did see her in the bar, either. Bold move. That could have backfired in a very bizarre and hilarious way. I got undressed with the lights still on. That usually does it. It's a side effect of liking bacon. I was really high watching The Lion King and this very unattractive girl kept edging closer to me on the couch. I eventually wound up curled up in the fetal position away from her, tucked into the very corner of the sofa. Oh man, I'm getting a panic attack just reading this. I can just picture you burrowing deeper and deeper into the couch and deeper into your own brain, trying harder and harder to block out reality, while the movie's music and dialogue provide a demented commentary. Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Tata, Tata, Tatars, my Tatars, my Tatars, Hyou kumone my Tatars. Last year I met a girl at a party, and we hit it off after getting a rather large number of beers inside of us. Eventually we moved into a bedroom and started making out pretty intensely. I was a virgin at this point, and I decided to get down to business for the very first time. As I turned aside to put my socks on, I like to be comfy. She slipped her hand down her skirt and ripped off a bloody tampon, thinking I wasn't looking. At this point my drunken mind decided to go into overdrive to get me the frick out of there, resulting in me saying the following words. Blue guy need to bury my tequila. I jumped off the bed and ran off into the night like a mystic demon. Ripped off seems like a strange choice of words. Late to the party, but here we go. Not something I did, but my brother. For a few weeks in high school, I lived with my mom, and I was babysitting my younger brothers. A girl with who I went to school decided to stop by, and was clumsily trying to seduce me. She had a bit of a reputation, and I was watching kids besides, so I really wasn't into it. Anyway, she got really forceful, and my younger brother picked up on the fact that I was uncomfortable. As an aside, I was supposed to be very careful about letting the boys play wrestling video games, as they tended to get a little rowdy. I had completely ignored this rule all day. Anyway, my brother saw how uncomfortable I was, so he decided that he was going to climb on the back of the couch and dropkick the frick right out of her. I pretended to be upset with him until she got back up and left, then high-fived him and took my brothers out for ice cream. Us younger brothers know how to get crap done. Luigi doesn't frick around, and neither do we. Told her that Jesus wouldn't approve of our having premarital sex. She stunk horrendously once I got down there. Girl I was dating in college wanted me to come over to her apartment. Told her I couldn't because I was busy watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with my roommates, which I was. You have been visited by the money cat, like for good luck and fortune. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.